Hello, I'm Omar Oakes, editor of Mediatel News, and welcome to our new video interview series, Making Sense of It All, in association with Crater Lake & Company. Over the next few weeks, we'll be dropping a number of interviews with some of the most interesting thought leaders in the media industry right now. And the theme for these interviews is making sense of it all, because we want to ask probing questions about how marketers, media agencies, and media owners are supposed to navigate this increasingly more complex media landscape. So first up, we have Professor Prof Nelson-Field, one of the industry's most renowned media researchers, and she's doing pioneering work on the measurement of audience attention. And you can read about this and more in Attention Revolution, her new column on Mediatel News. Check that out at mediatel.co.uk/news. So now I bring you Brian Jacobs from Crater Lake & Company and Professor Nelson-Field.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Jacobs, and a few months ago, a group of 4 of us, all from different disciplines, set up a collective called Crater Lake & Company. And the idea of Crater Lake was to help marketers pull together all the data and research at their disposal and to end up with a kind of clear performance narrative to, in a sense, to sort of try and make sense of it all and to use all the data and research and so on to help their marketing plans, their creative strategies and so on. So in this series of interviews, we're going to be speaking to well-known experts in different fields on what making sense of it all means to them. And today I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Prof Nelson-Field, whose pioneering work in measuring and understanding consumers' attention to advertising is well known. So hi, Karen.
Hey, Brian. I love making sense of it all. I love that.
Excellent. Well, Karen, you've done masses of work, of course, and many studies in multiple geographies across thousands of consumers for very many clients. And I guess you're now at the point where you've got a great bank of information and knowledge at your disposal. And we're now, I suppose, at that point where you need to put it into some kind of shape or form, which will help people genuinely use and take account of attention in how they write their plans. Could you say a little bit about what you're doing in that area?
So what I love about this is that this couldn't be more relevant to us. So, we have a relatively complex collection system that's based on relatively rigorous and complex work. But, I kind of recognize that, over about a year and a half ago, that complexity is not our friend. And so making sense of it all could not be more relevant to what we have sort of tried to do in changing our business model from, being a research only kind of agency to building our attention products using the data we have and that we've collected across multiple countries that could be delivered in a really simple way. Not simplistic, but simple in that people could make sense of it and brands and agencies can use it. So the first product that we have built, which we prototyped and sent out to MVP sort of in January, was a product called Attention Trace, which you've probably heard about. I know you've interviewed me about it before. But basically, its premise is that it's a fairly simple but dynamic planning dashboard and API. So we've now actually got APIs into agency holding codes. That delivers quite simply how much attention one platform delivers over another or one format delivers over another, and what it looks like by demographic, by different categories, by time of day. And I mean, and at its core, it's simply sort of used for media planners to understand how many attention seconds their current media plans deliver, and with then an attention adjustment, what a media plan could deliver if they make small tweaks to their buying, in essence. So that's our first product. And the second product is in prototype at the moment, and it's called Attention Trade. And I can only give you a little bit of a snippet of what that it's about, but essentially, we're getting called constantly to sort of extend from planning to buying, and it's a product that will actually, or does actually model, the last 5 years of our data into predictive algorithms. And the goal with Attention Trade is to be able to actually buy human attention off the back of that at impression levels. So it's in prototype at the moment, but again, it's not super complex. The algorithms are, but the buying output's not. And, we're quite excited because our MVP sort of already shows that, even version 1, it delivers 6 times better, outcomes from a from a business outcome perspective than MRC viewability standards. So yeah, we're pretty excited for this next step.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, presumably for this to become a genuinely used and extensive input into a variable in planning, you're going to have to look at formats beyond video. You're presumably going to have to look at other media forms. You're going to have to sort of come up with some sort of comparative numbers of some description that explain why video is better or worse than something else. Are you doing work in areas other than video?
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably even said to you before, we're quite shocked and excited and not shocked that the amount of interest we've had for data delivered like this. So the excellent question is, will we be moving on from video? And the answer is yes. And we actually have quite massive ambitions beyond video and certainly beyond mobile and TV. So, one of the things that we get asked about all the time is audio. So we've already collected audio data in the US, UK, and Australia. But instead of using visual data, we collected sort of business outcomes against that. So our verified, stats and our verified discrete choice outcomes. And essentially, because of how long we've been doing it, we can now actually model those coefficients back to attention seconds. So that's the first port of call. We're close to that. And if you know me at all, you know that I wouldn't just put it out there if we haven't collected it in multiple countries to make sure that it's generalizable. So audio is first cab off the rank. We're also literally building, as we speak, a cinema prototype to be tested here in Australia. So we're super excited about that because obviously cinema is a big part of the media plan. And the third piece is we have a prototype that can be put onto outdoor infrastructure. So those are our three sort of immediate. We actually have people asking us beyond that, but I think that's probably enough of a stretch for us in the next 12 months. But yeah, absolutely, good question. Our ambition is to move beyond video.
I mean, your company, Amplified Intelligence, you're not the only guys doing this. Of course, there's other companies doing similar or work in the same sort of space, we should say, I suppose. I mean, where do you think this is going to sort of end up? Are we going to have companies that specialize in different aspects of attention in some way, or do you think that sort of one company will win and other companies will lose, or how do you think it will sort of play out in a few years' time?
Yeah, so that's equally a good question, and I actually wrote an article in Mediatel last month that sort of talked about the attention revolution, if you like. The category is exploding, and it makes sense because we've talked about the fact that attention is the evolution of impression measurement, but we do worry. I personally worry a bit because I feel like we have an ethical dilemma. We just want to make sure that because I think that there'll be a lot more vendors. So there's a couple of vendors in the space now, and again, we know that attention serves a better outcome than viewability optimized alone. But mark my words, in the next 6 to 12 months, the industry will be flooded. So if you think there's a couple of us now, the next 6 to 12 months, it will be absolutely flooded with attention vendors. And I will tell you that some will be good and most won't be. So at a bare minimum, I say, we'll answer your question in a minute, Brian, but a bare minimum, I say that if a vendor doesn't actually have access to human gaze data, then beware, because basically this will be an important distinction because, a true evolution of a viewability metric, we want to make sure that we nurture and not just a poor replacement, poor cousin replacement. So be mindful that, as this industry floods, that people aren't just using, other sort of proxy measures, if you like. But yeah, absolutely. For those of us who do collect human attention, I think what's going to happen is, I think that not one of us will be sort of all-encompassing of the ecosystem. I think that each one of us will sort of specialize. So I think we'll all sort of splinter into specializations as this next year progresses. And I think that's probably a good thing because, we don't all want to be all things to everyone. So I think, someone will specialize in creative, someone will specialize in planning, some will specialize in, in optimization perhaps. But yeah, I think there'll be specializations in our industry.
Great. Thanks very much indeed, Karen, for joining us to make sense of it all.
Pleasure. It was fun. Thank you.